Hi guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. It is the end of a month, so it is time to give you guys a garden tour. So I'm going to show you everything, how it's going, where we're up to with our garden cleanup, what's growing, how it's growing. Some are doing very good, some not so good. So I'll show you all of that, and let's just get straight into it. So the entrance to the garden is right over there. And along the edge over here, we created a border with perennial flowers and perennial herbs. So back here, the back corner, we left empty because I would love to have like a bistro table over here eventually. I don't think it's going to happen this year, but this is the plan down the road. Now our first plant over here, we have a bunch of weeds, but the first plant that we have over here is our lavender, and they are putting on flowers right now, and it is absolutely beautiful. Now last year these didn't really grow, they were still in a pot, and I don't think I got a single flower. So at the end of the season I transplanted it, and now it is growing. It's so exciting to see it growing again, and it smells delicious. Wow. It's overtaken by weeds. We have to take care of that. This is another perennial flower. I'm not sure what it is called. Last year it was just a tiny little bush. It was probably like this. So it's growing in height. It's putting on flowers. Probably the other way might be a little bit better. Yes. Gorgeous. This is our next one. It's not flowering yet either. This is also way bigger than it was last year. And then our next one is right over here, and it's putting on the buds. And all of these have gotten way bigger. Now this over here is some mint that I planted this year, because last year my mint didn't survive. We've already harvested a bunch of it. We've made drinks with it, and we absolutely love it. And I can't decide if I should put it into my landscape, because I know that it's very invasive and it'll just spread all over. But I don't know if this pot is big enough, so we're definitely gonna have to transplant it. The question is where, so I have to decide about that. Now we have here is where we come in. The next pot that we have over here is eucalyptus, and you can see I harvested some over here that are bushing out, but these that are taller and bigger are ones that I did not harvest anything off of it yet, but it's doing really good. And these I know are also a perennial, could be a perennial, so we'll see what happens. We're going to try to overwinter it, and we'll see what happens. Over here I didn't really plant anything, not much yet in the ground, but over here I had sage come up in my garden beds from last year. I didn't know that it's a perennial in my area, so I pulled it up because I didn't want it in the bed if it's a perennial herb, but I didn't know how it's going to transplant. So I put some in the bed, in the pot, and then I transplanted two right here. This one was not doing very good after transplanted, but it's coming back. This one did transplant very well. So I'll see if I have to keep the one in the pots or if these will come back year after year. I just put some in a pot so that I have insurance that in case this one doesn't survive, I have that. Now over here till the end we had planted a few sunflower seeds for like 12-foot sunflowers, but I think we only got 2 coming up, which over here is our first one, and this one over here is our second one, which looks like it has some damage here. I don't know if it's an animal or a bug, but I hope that this is going to recover and do good. Now, I had my manicurist show up at my house with some cucumber starts. All winter long she's been telling me about these cucumbers that she grows, seedless cucumbers. It's really delicious. And she showed up at my house one day with cucumber starts and pepper starts. So the only thing I know is that it's a sweet pepper. So I have a few of those planted throughout the garden in pots, and they're actually putting on fruit already. You can see like a mini pepper over here and over here, and there's lots of buds that the flowers have fallen off already or are just starting to form. So we're gonna have some of these peppers to try very soon. And now we're gonna start in our beds, and I'm gonna work my way down the row, come back around, do that side of the bed, then go over to the next row and do the same thing. So the weeds this year, the weed pressure has been insane. No matter how much I weed, I cannot seem to stay on top of it. And you'll see, like, I think by the last garden tour I told you guys this, that there's so much weeds, and I've come out already and I've weeded, and I've come out multiple times. I first did all of the beds, got rid of most of the weeds, and then I came out and did one bed at a time as it was becoming bad. But right now I think I have, so this bed over here is pretty bad. Then I know that our 2 garlic beds are bad, but we're gonna see, I can see over here that there's some weeds growing in every single bed almost. So I'm gonna have to come back out and do a big weeding day again. So over here in this bed, the edge is lined with onions. We have white onions, and some of them did good transplanting, some of them did not. Like the ones over here that are in between the weeds are not really growing. I have one here. This one over here is really, really small. And then some of them are doing okay, like this one grew nice and tall. You can see this one. And some of them are bulbing up beautifully and some are not. So like this one right here is pretty small. Like it's not all growing the same for some reason. Like this one is pretty small. These are curled up versus these are straight up, growing fine, but I don't know how big the bulb is getting because it's underground. This one looks like the bulb is finally starting to grow a little bit. But yeah, they're all growing slightly differently. I am gonna get an onion harvest, but I don't know how much I'll get and how big they're gonna be. But I'm still learning how to grow onions. Last year wasn't the best year for it either, and that was my first time growing it. So I'm still learning how to grow the onions. I also have in between here, I have radishes on a row in between the onions and tomatoes. We have a bunch of Roma tomatoes over here that I probably have to trim because I see that they're touching the ground, and that is very easy to bring on disease onto the plants. And these are tomatoes that we are not going to trim back, take off any suckers, because these you want it to produce the most flowers and the most tomatoes possible. I wonder if we have any tomatoes set already or it's just the flowers. I was not home the last couple days, and I know that we had rain. So like after every single rain, these plants explode. I don't think we have any tomatoes on this plant, on any of these Roma plants yet. So again, we have onions, radishes, tomatoes. On the end over here, we have cherry tomatoes that are going to go up the trellis. And they're also a little bit slow, but oh, these have some fruit already. Look at that. Beauty. Yeah, the cherry tomatoes are usually going to be the first ones to put on fruit. You can see some over here. Beautiful. So we have 3 plants on this side, 3 plants on this side, and the goal with this is, first of all, it should grow produce a bunch of tomatoes. But with these tomatoes, I'm planning to roast them and make a pizza sauce. So we have 4 arch trellises. So that was trellis number 1. We're moving on to the next bed. Over here we have some cosmos, which they are growing beautifully nice and tall, not producing any flowers yet. This is an eggplant, which I know I've seen flowers, and I am hoping that they got pollinated. And I actually spot an eggplant right there, a baby eggplant. That is so exciting. Our first eggplant. And now over here, this and the next plant is supposed to be snacking peppers, red snacking peppers. And for some reason this and that didn't really grow, but the next one did put on some growth. Not too much, but it is doing something. And I don't understand why the other 2 didn't. But I'm gonna leave it because it's a little bit late to start new. And we'll see what happens with them. I've got 2 more eggplants right there. And we got a different Cosmo. These are going to be a different colored Cosmo than the ones that we have on the other end of the bed. And on this trellis, we have green beans. So we have one variety on this side, and we have a different variety on the other side. Just trying to get these to climb up. But you can see, let me show you, how it's climbing up all by itself. It's going up really high. I can't even see what I'm showing you, so I hope you see it. The sun is so bright right now. But again, I see no flowers yet. Is this the flower? I'm not sure. We'll find out. We didn't harvest anything yet from these green beans or from these. These are a little bit more wild looking, and it's harder to get them up because the garlic is in the way, and the other side it's hard to see, and there's so many weeds right here. Like all this is weeds over here, so like I have to come in and take care of that. So over here we have the beds filled up with garlic. So we have soft neck and hard neck, and we came out a couple weeks ago and we planted some drying beans. So I don't remember if this bed is navy beans or kidney beans, but it's one or the other. And over here I have the soft neck garlic, and over here we have the hard neck, which they are so small, the necks, very thin, very short. They're not producing the way any of the other garlics are producing. So I believe that I'm not going to be growing this variety next year. And I believe that we are planting kidney beans in this bed because I see the shell of an eggplant, of a kidney bean right here. So that is for this bed. The beans was planted down the row, coming around over here and going up the other side. So the same thing, we have just the garlic and the beans planted right here. Coming back to the green bean trellis. And over here I planted parsley. Oh, I see another one came up. Okay. I was very concerned that we only had one bunch of parsley come up. But I'm happy to see that we have a second one too. That's good. These are dahlias, I believe, down here. All these. And these took a while to get going, but now they're finally getting bigger, and I hope to have some flowers pretty soon. And then in the middle over here, these plants are asters. Did I plant just the white one? Mix mixed aster and yellow aster. Okay, this over here is a bunch of weeds that we still have to pull up. The walkways it's still a work in progress. We are getting it done. We got a lot of it done. But over here, these weeds, I think when my husband was working in this walkway, I was working right here. So he didn't pull up these. He has to come back and do that. This plant over here is a jalapeno, I believe. I don't know, that's for the dahlias. I believe this is a jalapeno, which is also still pretty short. But it is showing some growth. Again, the tomatoes, the cherry tomatoes on the trellis. Over here, I planted some more cosmos because I had planted, I think, carrots and it didn't come up, so I figured let me do some cosmos. So that's on the end over here. This one does look like a carrot. A bunch of them though. And this here, no, this is not a carrot. I wonder what this is. A weed probably. And if so, this is also a weed. Oh, or poppy? Is this the poppy? Ooh. I'm very excited. Yes, I'm gonna have to check. Let me grab my phone. I have 2 more onions at the end over here. I have another pot of eucalyptus right there. But let me grab my phone. Did I even bring it out with me? I don't see it here. Okay, I'm gonna have to do that later. Okay, with this eucalyptus, I have recently harvested a few, but you can again see that some of them are nice and tall and are ready to be cut down so that they can grow even bigger. Like you can see over here, this is where I had cut it. Now popping over to the next row of beds. This over here, I know it's a spicy pepper, red habanero. So I'm hoping to get a good harvest this year and make some hot sauce. I see lots of flowers in here. I'm hoping to get lots of fruit off of these. I think these peppers are doing the absolute best because these grew in height first and then they put on the flowers. There's so many flowers. Wow. In the center of the bed, I have a few celeries. I have a couple more Roma tomatoes. Again, lots of flowers, but I don't see any fruit set yet. The weather over here has been really rainy, so I don't know if that's the best for producing the tomato fruit. And everything has been taking a bit slow, but we're getting there. Ooh, wow, the basil has taken off. The basil, they were itty bitty tiny tomato starts when I put them in. I was sure that they're not going to survive, but they were holding on, and now they're finally growing. Like, look at this, finally putting on some size, and I can start harvesting some leaves. Wow, I'm so excited about this. And we've got some more basil right there. Over here, the ones over here didn't take. You can see that there's empty space. My hand smells from the basil now. Delicious. Here we got some snapdragons. This is a pepper. Which one is this? This is a ghost pepper. Still pretty small. Hoping that it'll grow to size. Look at this one. Wow. This one is red peppers, I believe. Let me check the tag. Yes, these are going to be red peppers. They actually also put on nice height. And I see flowers forming. So we're going to have fruits here pretty soon. Some beautiful peppers. Then we got some zinnias across the bed over here. And then on this trellis, this is our cucumber trellis. So on this side, I started from seed. And these are pickling cucumbers. and they are slowly coming to size, slowly starting to grow, and we're training them that they should go up the trellis. And you can see the difference of this one. These cucumbers were the ones that my manicurist gave me. She gave me some starts, and they are absolutely going crazy. And I know that I checked before I left, and I saw it's starting to set some fruit, which these aren't looking very good. I wonder if it's gonna become anything, but look at that. It has so many flowers and so many fruit forming. It's just absolutely beautiful. Yeah, these got bigger. They got longer since I saw them last. So hopefully we'll have cucumbers pretty soon here. And you can see how it's growing up. And it should hopefully fill up this trellis. Last year it filled it up beautifully. And this is how we train it, by gently helping it out, turning the vines around to hold on, to help it. Wow, this is absolutely beautiful. Next up on this bed, on the edge, on both edges, we have carrots. And I am getting way more than I expected. I had planted a bunch of them and it seemed like nothing was coming up. But finally they're coming up. This side came up first, that side came out later, and I was concerned that I'm not going to get a lot of carrots, but it looks like I'm getting more than I had expected. Not as much as I had planned for, but I think more than I expected. So this part of the cucumber over here is just floating, so I'm going to try to get it to grow inside and not take up space in the bed. There we go. Now over here we got some more peppers, and these are jalapeno peppers. So I can see some flowers forming. Actually, wow, you know what? I take back what I said about the peppers from the previous bed, that those are the best looking. They're getting some of them are getting pretty good. Some of them, like I said in the beginning, not so good. So I have 3 jalapenos right here. Like this one is only starting to put on buds right now. This one has some more established ones. And this one too has some more established ones. So they're all going at their own pace. But I'm not complaining because we're going to get them whenever they're ready. Now for the lettuce, I had over here 3 or 4 head lettuces. Beautiful head lettuce, and we already harvested a bunch of them. This one is still here. The rest of these lettuces are all meant to be harvested by the leaf, not cut off the head. And I keep coming out and harvesting, and I see I can do a big harvest again. So maybe we'll do that later. It just, now I know that when I harvest all this lettuce, cleaning it is a big job. But since it didn't rain today, then it might be easier to clean, because right after the rain they're really wet and the dirt is sticking to it. It's a lot harder to clean it. Now over here, from the jalapenos to the next peppers, I had planted a bunch of dill and we only got 1. So I might try and start more. I might just leave it at that. I have to decide. And then we got some more peppers, and these are going to be cayenne peppers. And these are also starting to form flowers. But like over here you can see this one has got some nice height, versus this one is pretty short compared. And that one over here is also not very tall. Oh, this lettuce bent out of the way, and it's in the way of the peppers now. You can see all this dirt. This is from the rain. It's splattered up the soil. So it's a job to clean all that. Oh, this is great. This is oh my goodness, marigold that came up over here between 2 carrots. And I had transplanted it to here because this is where I wanted it. And it took. I'm so happy. But I had officially started marigolds between each of the pepper plants, and nothing came up. So I'm happy that I have this one volunteer one that came up and is doing pretty good. Now, this might not have moved since you saw the garden last, because we did not have a chance to come and work the garden again since then. But it's a work in progress. We're getting there. Here we got another one of our peppers from my manicurist. And again, garlic. And these are the navy beans in between. And as you can see, these garlics are all pretty much the same. I mean, these are still a little bit smaller than the soft neck. And we've had a lot of wind. Can you see how they're leaning to that side a bit? We've had a lot of wind. I hope they're going to survive. And I see I have over here a garlic scape. So I'm going to take it off. I want the energy of the plant to not go in and produce this flower. It should instead encourage the bulb underground to grow bigger. So we did the same thing over here with the beans, planted it along the edge and up the two sides. Now this trellis over here is going to have a loofah plant that for some reason took a while to get started, but I see now that it is starting to take off. So I'm going to train it to go up, especially the vines, to wrap it around. That's not holding. Okay. So over here I was gonna plant lettuce this side too, but I'm debating if I should even start more lettuce, because between just these few, if I keep harvesting them and they don't go to flower, at this rate I feel like I can continue going for the entire season. But I have to decide if I want to plant more lettuce, because at this point this lettuce feeds me more than enough for the week, and by the time the week is done I can harvest again all this. So we'll see if I decide to put in some more lettuce over here, but again we have carrots along the entire edge over here. This pot over here is another sage pot that is not looking very good. It's looking crispy and dry, but the soil is wet, so I don't know what's going on. We've got a rosemary right there, which I planted this year, but I should have probably put it into the border landscape right there. But I can still transplant it in the fall, I guess, and hope for good results. Over here I've got more carrots on the edge, and these took the longest to start coming up, but they are finally doing that. And you can see like this end over here is getting nice and tall. Beautiful. And this one I showed you guys already. It's red peppers, snapdragons, Roma tomatoes, and celery. Over here originally I had started a squash, our first zucchini, and it didn't grow, but I was planning to do succession planting anyways, so we're gonna come back and plant another one. This over here, is our sweet pepper from the manicurist, and this one has the best growth yet. Beautiful pepper at that. Wow, absolutely beautiful. Look at this one here, and we have so many more coming up. Wow, super exciting. Now on to our last row of beds. Here we got some more garlic, and these were all hardneck garlic, so we harvested all of the garlic scapes from these. These over here are cabbage, and I did not end up covering them with the net like I usually do, and so you can see that there's lots of bug damage. All those holes, I never had them before. If there were any holes, there were like small ones like these, and they were pretty insignificant, but the heads are finally starting to form, so we're very excited. I love the cabbage from the garden, and I'm excited to have that. Now I started oregano a few times already, and so far nothing came up. The last time I started, I sprinkled some over here. Doesn't look like anything came up. I might have to start it next year indoors when I start the rest of my seeds, and then transplant it. Maybe that way I'll have better success. Now over here, this bed, I had planted the cabbage, kale, and broccoli, and it stalled. They were pretty small starts to start with, and they just didn't grow much. So I came out here a few weeks ago, and I planted a bunch of zinnias and poppies. And the zinnias are definitely coming up. I'm going to check for the poppies because poppies are at the other end. But we also planted some baby's breath. Now, I had planted some on the edge over here. I mean, on this side, going across the bed. And I think I pulled it the first time I was pulling weeds. I didn't realize. Now I don't see any coming up. But I guess it takes a while. But that's our baby's breath, I believe. But all these over here are zinnias. Absolutely gorgeous. So over here you can see this is either our broccoli or the kale, and it's pretty much the size that it was when I put it into the bed. This one has some bug damage on it, but it's really not doing anything. That one grew a little bit last week, but now it looks like it was also eaten up by an animal. Is this a weed or a poppy? It's the first time growing poppies, so I'm not sure what it should look like, so I'm not sure what I'm looking for right here. Also with the poppies over here, I just sprinkled it, so I don't even know if something is going to come up. So we'll wait and see about this. Here I planted some chamomile. I think that I would enjoy this. It's good for the pollinators. It's great for teas. So I figured I might as well grow it. And I wanted to have it here first. And once the season is done, if it's growing nicely, I'll put it into the landscape. Oh, that's why I did the rosemary in the pot also. I think that was my plan with all the herbs. That make sure that it grows good. If it does, then I transplant it into the landscape. Which technically I can do. It's probably easier to just plant it in the landscape, and if it doesn't survive, I just put in a new plant there next year. Something to think about. Okay, now our last and final bed, but we're still going to head up the other side. Over here we got some peppers. Ooh, this has some damage on it. I wonder what has been happening to it. And these are going to be orange peppers. But I don't see any. Oh yeah, I do. I see buds forming. It's not focusing. Let me see, can I show you over here? There you go. There you can see a bud. In the center over here, the first few where you see a bunch of them together, those are scallions. Then I have white onions, and at the end I have red onions. I'll show you those. But these are going to be orange peppers. Then I put a couple of celery. Then we got red peppers. And these, like I said before, they didn't grow in height, but they were already flowering when I transplanted them. So they put on the fruit, and probably once I harvest these, they're going to grow a little bit taller and produce some more. But look at this. Gorgeous. Absolutely. Wow, this is, I think, the biggest pepper yet. As long as my hand. Beautiful. This one wasn't strong enough. It fell off. We got another one right here. Absolutely beautiful. Look at this. This one has two right next to each other. Wow. Gorgeous. Got some more celery. Wow. They're doing, I think, the best yet. They look like nice, thick stalks. I'm excited for these. And over here we got some yellow peppers, which is also producing some fruit already. Not this one. So like I said, the onions over here is red, then we go to white, and then the end is scallions coming around. So I had put chives on the two ends in the corners, and I don't think anything came up. I had just sprinkled a bunch of seeds. But then we have, every two plants is a different type of tomato. And in between the tomatoes, I planted, it's butternut squash or spaghetti squash, butternut squash, spaghetti squash. And they're gonna vine out and come into the walkway. So this is the squash plant. Oh, maybe these are the chives or scallions coming up right here. Beautiful. And over here I did cilantro. I figured it'll be shaded out from the tomatoes and the onions, and it's going to protect it because cilantro doesn't really like the heat, and they like to bolt pretty quickly in the heat. So this I see is two plants. I have to come out and thin it, and I have to come and clip the tomatoes. So as you can see, I have the strings right here, and this acts as a trellis because these tomato plants will get pretty tall, and this is how we support it. We have clips, we clip it on, and that supports the plant going up. Here we got another squash, and there we got some more, either scallions or chives. I think it was scallions that I put in here because we absolutely love scallions. Another tomato. It's pretty messy still over here because the walkway is still overgrown, and we didn't clip any of the tomatoes yet. We got another. Oh, this is our biggest squash yet. See, this is the squash leaf. But we have to bring up this tomato because it's choking everything out. Oh, and it's setting fruit. I see our first tomato here. Absolutely beautiful. Wow, so this is the time where like things are slowly starting to show the progress of all the work that we've put into it. And they're finally starting to produce. And very soon we're going to have harvests coming in way faster than we can manage it. Got some more cilantro, another tomato, another squash with some more chives, which I don't see, or scallions. I see like one came up. Finally another tomato, and nothing coming up in the corner over here for the chives that I started. Over here we can't even walk. This is just a bunch of volunteer tomatoes. All of this is volunteer tomatoes, which we have to pull. I mean, they're putting on flowers, they're producing, but I think we're just going to end up pulling it. So I'm going to walk around this way to go back up to the last bed. And over here we got another one of our peppers from my manicurist. This here is our squash plant. The first one, it was the second one that I started, but the first one that grew. And I see lots of flowers in here. So hopefully very soon we're gonna have some squash. They all look like male flowers though. We'll have to keep an eye on that. We have some more eggplants, and they are flowering as well. And can I spot any fruit on it yet? Here we go. Look at that. Beautiful flower. I love the color of them, that light purple. Beautiful. Over here we had a bunch of radishes that we had already harvested and enjoyed. And we keep planting more, but for some reason they're not doing as good. We have a bunch more snapdragon down the center, which I keep harvesting the flowers to encourage them to grow bigger and taller and stronger. We got a watermelon right here. We got more snapdragons, more eggplant. Oh wow, this is a big plant. And here we got another squash starting to grow right now. So this is it for the garden. Okay guys, so it has been a week since this was put in the dehydrator now. And last time I checked was yesterday, and there was still a few pieces that could have used more time. But it is Thursday today, and I want the counter space to be able to cook for Shabbos. So we're going to take care of this. So what I'm going to do is I took out my mini food processor, and I'm going to go through each piece one by one, make sure that it's completely dry, and if it is, I am going to put it into the blender. And I believe on this layer, everything should be completely dry. I probably could have taken it off already a couple days ago. Just I didn't want to reintroduce any moisture while the rest of the stuff dried. So I left it. This one doesn't snap, so that means that it's not completely dry. See, a completely dry one, it's just going to snap. As long as there's still moisture in there, there will be a resistance. Okay, from all those garlic scapes, we got just a few pieces that are not fully dehydrated, so these we're not going to use. I want to ensure the best long-term storage. I got to make sure that there's no moisture whatsoever in there. So now we're just going to powder this. It's taken quite a while to get this really fine. Okay, I think if I want to grind up the rest of it, I'm going to have to do it with a mortar and pestle. Okay, first of all, that dust cloud made me cough. Second, this smells so good. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited to incorporate this into recipes coming up. Okay, for this I had prepped one of these spice containers that I use for all my spices. I have a bunch of spare ones. So we're going to get all of this into the spice jar. I'm going to run it through a fine mesh sieve so that the bigger pieces don't get into the jar. This is quite heavy to hold. Transfer it back in the blender. Let's see what else I can get out of here. So this will be our garlic powder, garlic escape powder. And then this, the remaining dehydrated garlic escapes, which it might be too dry for it to grind up. That's why it's not really going with either the blender or with the mortar and pestle. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to get it into a container, and maybe what I'll do, I'm going to cover it with some oil. I'm going to let this rehydrate. It's probably still going to be crunchy. Maybe we can do like a chili onion crunch and use this for the garlic in there. Or use this as the same type of topping, but it's just going to be the garlic scapes. I'm going to make labels for both of them because I'm not the only one in the kitchen. And if you want to see how we trellis up our tomatoes, weed the garden, maybe plant some new things, trim the tomatoes, maybe we're going to clean up the walkway. But if you want to see anything down the road in the garden, you want to see how I preserve these things, how I use these things, and just enjoy gardening content or cooking content, hit subscribe because that's all that we do on this channel, cooking and gardening. My two passions that I just love to share with other people. So if you want to keep up with all this, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.